Join us for a driving review of the new Audi Q5 Sportback. Let's go! Here in the front, the updated Q5 and the new Q5 Sportback. They look pretty much the same in the front. Huge single frame grille, high gloss black. In this case, this is the S-Line exterior package, so sporty styling also here with this graphic. Quantum Grey is the color for today with our main vehicle, but we also have some shots of the Glacier White for you, or the very interesting Ultra Blue. Comes close to our Thomas Blue, we call our channel here because that's my favorite color, and a very spectacular Dragon Orange. Very interesting. The length is at 4.69 meters, 15'4" or 185 inches. Wheels start a little bit bigger than with the normal Q5. With the normal Q5, 17-inch would be the entry wheel size. Here directly with 18-inch. These are the optional 19-inch wheels. Maximum would be 21-inch. Again, S-Line exterior styling, so a little bit sportier. You can also get, for example, a black pack. You can see here in the exterior mirror caps are in black. Then you can later also get black Audi rings in an extended black pack, for example. The wheel arches, you can get them, for example, in vehicle color, but here they're contrasted, but here painted contrast. So not a plain black, but a painted black then. So nice and sporty, very elegant style at the same time. And for the rear here, this is special new with the Q5 Sportback. You can also get organic LED, so OLED. This is another option then. It looks really flat here from this rear graphic, and you can get them in 3 different stylings. You really order them literally when you get your vehicle and you have this OLED option, 3 different signatures. And they also have additional functionality when a vehicle is approaching, for example. So I'm simulating a vehicle now. So you can see when I'm standing in front of the car that would be approaching vehicle, this graphic is changing. You see here? There it is. So very interesting thing. And this is another vision, for example. We heard that from different manufacturers that cars are being able to communicate a little bit with the outside world with light signatures. This could be one step in that direction. As for engines, you get 2-liter 4-cylinders or 3-liter 6-cylinders, both for petrol and diesel. And for the petrol side, also plug-in hybrid versions. Today we have the 2-liter TFSI, 265 horsepower, 6.1 seconds is the acceleration figure, so a strong 4-cylinder engine, 2-liter of displacement. And the smaller engines have the Quattro Ultra all-wheel drive, so that means front plus rear on demand, and the rear can be actually decoupled for fuel savings. And the bigger engines, the 3-liter engines, they have the classic Quattro with 40% front, 60% rear, standard distribution and a center differential. So the SQ5 versions for the US, for example, or for Russia will be the 3-liter 6-cylinder petrol engine. The SQ5 for Europe will still be the SQ5 diesel then, with fake exhaust tips, and you can see it right there. There it is. That's the one in Dragon Orange, the SQ5 diesel. As I said, fake exhaust tips, and yeah, just the diesel for the sports version. Probably if I would go for an SQ5, I would still try to get a petrol one, but again, in Europe, not possible anymore. Main engine will, however, be rather this one here, the 2-liter TFSI. We don't have the S-line steering wheel, however, here. It's a normal steering wheel. There's also a sporty one with a flat button available. But overall, interesting, nice buttons right here to control the digital instruments. Right side then for the volume. Here we can also see the 12.3-inch digital instruments. Bass, however, would be analog instruments with a 5-inch screen. This then is an option. And seating-wise, these are the sport seats. You can get normal seats and sport seats. Sport seats are here. They have more shoulder form right here. The normal seat would rather go straight. Then getting inside, it's actually a nice seating position right here. You can put that front part a little bit longer. In this case here, a manual seat with an electric lumbar support. The sport seats give you a little bit more support here, but it doesn't mean that they're more comfortable. So the other ones are a little bit more open. Also depends on your personal preference. Then still a lot of headroom left. 1.86 m or 6'1" is my height, no problem. Interior overview, I think it's a straightforward design. First of all, this dashboard material is also, again, like the inside of the doors, not entirely soft, not entirely hard, something in between. Then a nice wood insert here. Different stylings available. And then this new 10.1-inch screen, also for the Q5 SUV facelift. This replaced the solution with the MMI knob in the middle console because this is all via touch now and always this size. Finally, just one size for the screen. That makes it definitely easier, but the GPS is still optional and over 2,000 euros extra for that, for the GPS functionality. I think that's a little bit tough on the customer, isn't it? And also the smartphone interface, about 800 euros for the Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto support. Come on, what extra price policy is that? So, and then you can really enjoy that extra price with the Apple CarPlay, definitely here. The integration is actually quite well done. And on the left side, as I said, 5-inch in the middle part would be standard and analog on the outside. These are the optional 12.3-inch digital instruments, and you can have different views. For example, you have this classic view, only the RPM meter changes a little bit in this sport view. Then you have red RPM area, or you can also have this new dynamic view. This looks more textile, but I think not really good, right? This sport view is the coolest, I think, with these round gauges. And then you can always use the view button at the steering wheel to have this kind of view, or like this. And you can also, that's the biggest advantage of digital instruments, have the map in the middle part and then go like this. So the map all over the place. This is the biggest advantage. As for the rear, what compromise is there? First of all, you also have that same material here in the back part. Again, somewhat hard, not entirely hard. Then here, nice bright microfiber insert, and once again the matte wood. And you can see there's not much legroom left. So then let's get inside here in the rear. And as you can see, not too much legroom left. It evenly fits with my, with my size and my height, and when I'm driving right here in the front. So the sport seat's also a little bit more voluminous. Headroom, however, there's actually no problem, so there's hardly a compromise there. So the falling roofline doesn't have a, great negative effect on that. And now to the trunk area. Special always with all Q5, both SUV and Sportback. Here, the whole light lifts up, and then you have this open space area here. That is, kind of quite a distinctive look. And then here, this cover with rails, nice left and right. And then when you have the air suspension, you can also lower the vehicle for a lower loading height. 510 liters, that means you lose about 40 liters in comparison to the SUV version. So here, cut off a little bit here. But you can still see you can use it very well. The only thing that would not be possible is put the backpack here. But that's the only thing, So you're actually still quite well off. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the new Audi Q5 Sportback. We're in Ingolstadt here today, Audi's heartland, so to speak, at the Audi Piazza. We've been there a couple of times to do some shootings. So the Q5 and the Q5 Sportback, they are of course pretty much the same as for driving, I can already tell you so far. If you would tell me now I'm in a Q5 SUV, I couldn't deny it really. So that it's cut off there in the back, we don't really feel that. Rather, it's about the suspension choice, and we do have the adaptive air suspension here today. As I said earlier, would not go for the fixed sport suspension, which is standard for the Q5 Sportback. De-pick it and go for the base suspension if you want the most cost-effective option, or non-option. And if you go for the adaptive suspension, €1,000 extra, I think that's a clever choice, because that extra is still, quite okay for the price, and you get some additional comfort. Here, the adaptive air suspension is, of course, even more expensive than as the option, but still, as I said, the adaptive suspension choices both are not that expensive if you compare it to other expensive options. So I think you can still live with that. Here, the air suspension is, however, not that soft that you would feel like a Mercedes air suspension, where you really feel like it would be like this flying carpet ride. The air suspension that Audi is using is here, still, sporty, I would say. Well, it's a Camo vehicle. I think one of the electric ones, the new ones. So here, when you go in slalom, it doesn't shake up too much. I think it's overall good compromise. Also very silent, so a good noise insulation here. Good overview to the rear, to the sides as well. We also have the blind spot monitor included here in the side mirror. At some point you can probably also see that in action. Good feeling in general also of the brakes and also of the steering. It's very precise and direct, no dead zone area for that. So already in a non-sporty version, it feels actually quite sporty. So if you also compare it to the competitors, the ride is quite sporty, I have to say. Here we are on the motorway. We go to the dynamic mode to get more boost from that. And we can also accelerate on the motorway and also overtake this truck A, always, by the way, in Germany for trucks that carry garbage. So, that's 150 kilometers an hour. We leave that. X5 passed. And wow, noise insulation superb. And again, the engine was also quite quick. Now at 160 kilometers an hour, really so silent and very stable here. What a good ride here, also at higher speeds. And you forget that you're driving an SUV. It could also just be a sporty sedan or something. And lane change here at higher speeds, super stable. Wow, that's really, really nice. Lane change back once again. Awesome. 160 kilometers an hour once again. Even going a little bit faster, so wow. So definitely among the most silent mid-side SUVs. Proves my point again that the noise now at 180 kilometers an hour, the wind noise is starting to pick up, but that's like nothing. Really, really interesting, pretty cool. Lane change once again, good control of the steering input. What a flawless ride here on the motorway, and it's not a very, very low sitting car, Also, if you think about a normal sport suspension, for example, here in the Audi Q5 and the Audi Q5 Sportback, they do not put the car lower. So when you go for a sport suspension, it means the suspension setup is stiffer, but not lower. Very interesting as well. Consumption shows here, something 10 liters to 1 kilometers. We'll get down a little bit more when we drive downhill, but something 8 to 9 liters to 1 kilometers you always have to calculate with. So, something 30 mpg you can approximately calculate with. A little bit less in most cases. So these are our impressions here for today. Again, Q5 Sportback. It doesn't make a big difference in driving. It's a very convincing driving. Best is the noise insulation, great steering input, good power from the engine, but even though we have new mild hybrid system here, consumption is still quite high. And now to our conclusion for today with the new Audi Q5 Sportback. Well, it took them quite a while to put a competitor up against the GLC Coupe and the BMW X4. Does it make sense? I mean, the others do it, so it's no wonder they also do it, just actually quite late. If it's something for you, it's really a matter of personal taste, because this cut-off style, some love it and appreciate it to drive a like sensual coupe style, but in a put-up style, and some others hate it. For me personally, I would usually go for the normal SUV styling just to have a little bit more versatility, and I also think it's just, to me, better in styling, but it's totally up to you what's better than for you. What you lose in, everyday usability is quite limited, so it's okay. A little bit of height then in the back of the trunk, but you can easily live with that. Also driving-wise, normal Q5 and the Q5 Sportback is quite equal. The good thing here about the Q5 in general is that you have a nice sporty ride already from the base version. At the same time, a good comfort, and especially if you go for this optional air suspension, which can do both. Actually, a nice, comfortable ride and sporty, just on demand on the button to make it a little bit stiffer then. I would not go for the fixed sport suspension, which comes standard here for the Q5 Sportback. But as I said earlier, you can de-pick it just without any extra price, or then go for the adaptive suspension, or here for the adaptive air suspension. That would be our comfort tip for today. And in comparison to other extra options, the suspension options are not that expensive. I do criticize the expensive options for the smartphone interface and for the GPS. These are too expensive than actually as options. Interior, very good build quality, so satisfied with that. Now set all on the touchscreen then in the middle, so upgraded in the infotainment. Yeah, if you use the knob in the middle part that was there before, some do miss it now, but then again, the manual structure in the touchscreen is also quite easy and simple. Especially for non-European markets, more animal skin alternatives are missing. Here in Europe, you can easily get some nice fabric seats. Other markets cannot, so Audi needs to upgrade there. Other than that, overall, it's still among the best compact SUVs or mid-size SUVs, depending on which market you order this size in right there. So overall, very good vehicle, no doubt about that. Different structures we present to you today, what you can do with this vehicle, all of the options and so on. So huge option list, and that's always then with Audi. If you think about prices ranging from over 50,000 to 65,000, then even more with extra equipment, easily get 70,000 euros and so on. Very expensive, definitely. So I hope we could give you good advice of which options you can just leave aside and which you should really go for. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It's great that you've been with us in these still very strange and tough times. Stick with us. See you next time.